Hi, I'm Paul from scissorspaperpaul, and I'm thrilled to be here on the Cricut Australia New Zealand YouTube channel. Thanks for having me for Make It May. I was so excited when I was asked to do this because I've been wanting to do a really cool project for a while. Now, this is a really good technique for a lot of reasons. One, I hope you think this is super cute. My house is very much that mid-century modern. I've been wanting to make some artwork, some things that are a little bit abstract. And what I wanted to do is actually take something of my son, and so I've drawn this artwork, we'll call it. Let's just say there were a lot of iterations, and it started off really, really scary. And hopefully you agree it's actually, quite cute now. But I've used 3 different colors for the infusible ink. This is a great technique, as I mentioned, to upload your own artwork, your kids' artwork, someone's handwriting, their favorite recipe, clean it up in Cricut Design Space, and then apply it to a different design. But what I absolutely love about the infusible inks, not only do they come in solids, they come in beautiful patterns. This product actually infuses into your design and into your blank. So whether that's a bag, a pillow sham in this case, or a mug or a coaster, it becomes one with the blank. So there's no edges, it's not going to flake, it's not going to peel off. You can machine wash it, which I love, and it's just so beautiful, and I'm so happy with how it came out, and I really hope that you enjoyed this video and that you will also give it a try. So let's dive in. And the materials we'll need today, of course, we're going to need our infusible ink, and I'm using this beautiful bright teal, tangerine, and black. We've got our green Cricut mat as well. You could use a blue one if it's nice and sticky, but otherwise a green mat would be recommended. Tools wise, definitely some scissors. A weeding tool, not essential, but could be handy. You'll also need, of course, your cutting machine. So with any of the Maker machines, the Explore series, even the Cricut Joy can cut infusible ink, which is fantastic. You'll need a lint roller. And of course, you'll need your EasyPress with the EasyPress mat, or a heat press if you have heat press. Not recommended to use a home iron for these projects. You're just not going to get it hot enough, and of course you've got those holes to contend with and yada yada yada, but you can use a mini. So if you use a mini, you just need to go slow and be very gentle and careful, but you can absolutely use any of the EasyPress machines. And of course you'll need the blank, and in this case we're using the pillow sham, which I showed you earlier. All right, let's get rocking and rolling. Here you can see I'm not a great artist. In the end, I actually took a photo of my son, placed over some tracing paper, and with a texter or a pencil first, just drew the sort of design that I wanted, pulling out some of the key features so that it actually does look like him for the people that do know what he looks like. So the first thing they want to do is get our drawing into Cricut Design Space. Now you can do this on your phone, it's quite easy, but I wanted to show you some of the design process, and it's going to be easier for me to show you on my desktop. So what I'm going to do is take a photo, making sure that it's really high contrast. If you can with your drawing, do it with a black texture rather than the red, which I've used. And then however you get it to computer, if you want to email it, airdrop it, whatever you need to do, pop it into computer, and then we'll jump into Design Space. So here we are in Cricut Design Space, and I've just opened up a new canvas. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through to upload. So I'm going to click upload, and then I'm going to say upload images, and from here I can drag and drop. I'm on a Mac, or I can just browse, which I'm going to do here. And here is my image of Lates. I'm going to double click it, and I'm going to pull it into Design Space. Now here is when I can tell it whether it's a simple, moderate, or complex image. This is a very simple image, so that's what I'm going to select, and I'm going to click continue. And then we get lots of different options. Now, if you are a Cricut Access member, then you have the feature which allows you to automatically remove the background, which we're going to do today. But you also have these select tools, eraser tools. All of those you can use. As I say, you can do this on your phone as well. This is great technique if you're uploading, as I mentioned, your handwriting or your children's art or your art, like I am today. But I'm just going to click remove background, and hopefully it's going to do a really good job. Yes, it has. I can see those grey checkered boxes behind it, which shows me all the transparent areas. And then also with the eraser tool, I can come in, if I just blow this up a little bit, so you can see what I'm doing here, and then move across, and I can tidy up any of these areas that I want to things like that. So take your time, get it exactly how you want it. There are some additional tools down the bottom there as well, but tweak it as much as you need to. As I say, use a really solid texture, not a red one like I did, or one that mine was actually running out, but that's going to give you the crispest image that you can. We'll click apply and continue, and then we get the option of a cut image or a print then cut image. So this is going to be a cut image, so I select cut, I'm going to label it late, and then I'm going to click upload, and it's as simple as that. Here we go, creating a new canvas to create our design. And the first thing I'm going to do is add our images. Now, of course, I mentioned we've already labeled this one late. So if I type in late, I will find the image here, and I'm going to click add to canvas. And because I'm going for this abstract mid-century modern type look, I'm also going to add in some blobs. And that's exactly what I'm going to search for, blobs. And you'll be actually surprised how many blobs are in there. So you can go through and you can choose the blobs that you want. Maybe you want to add some other embellishments. Maybe you might want to add some flowers or florals or fauna, whatever you want. You can add that in. I'm going to choose this one and I'm going to add to canvas. Okay, and I'm just going to make this a little bit smaller so you can see. So here's my image of Leighton that I drew. Here's one of the blobs. Now you can uncheck the padlock here, and then you can actually also change the dimensions. So you don't have to just make it sort of smaller, larger. You can get quite creative with this as well. I'm going to right click and I'm going to send it to back so I can see it behind the image. I can sort of rotate it, and I like it looking like this because it kind of fills in that area where I didn't do the eye, and also it gives it a bit of a neck. So I'm happy with that, but I'm going to add one more blob, or in this case, I'm actually going to go to shapes, and I'm going to click on a circle and make it a little bit bigger, and probably a little bit bigger. And once again, I'm going to send it to back so I can kind of see what the overall design is going to look like. I'm going to unlock the padlock, and I'm actually going to change it to a bit more of an oval shape, something like this. And then I look at that and I think fundamentally, yep, I'm happy with it. However, I'm going to change some colors so that I can see exactly what it might look like as my final design. And I'm going to change this orange one. Originally that was orange. I'm going to change it to a bit of a tealy color, something like that. So again, I can visualize it. I'm like, yep, that's giving me mid-century modern. Maybe it might be a little bit darker normally, but I'm really, really happy with that. And I've got those colors, so that's going to be absolutely fantastic. Now, when we're layering infusible ink, this is something that's a little bit different, and it's going to make a lot more sense when we come to put our design together. But what we need to do is we need to slice our front design from those blobs. So I'm going to select two of the images first, because you can only slice two images at once. So here I'm selecting Leighton as well as my teal or green blob. Got them both, and then down the bottom right, I'm going to click slice. And what you'll see is once that's completed, now with this teal piece, that's missing. Okay, we can see we've actually cut Leighton from that piece. Now I'm going to do exactly the same thing. So I'm going to select my orange and also Leighton, and I'm going to slice, and then we'll get the same result. Now what's a little bit different with this is that once again, because we've been doing all the slicing, what you'll notice is we've actually sliced Leighton as well. So I'm just going to click undo, or Command or Control Z to undo that. I'm going to select all of his face, and I'm going to weld, and that's just going to connect all of those pieces back together again. And I'm going to change him to black, and then now here's one piece that we're going to cut as well. And again, all of this is going to make sense, and I hope you love puzzles as much as I do. And then what we need to do is just put them back together, just so we can make sure we've got the sizing right. Now I know based on the blank that I've got with my my cushion cover, I like to go a little bit smaller when I'm doing the cushions, because they're going to get padded out. I know that my design is kind of potentially going to get stretched across that bend, and I don't necessarily want that. I don't mind so much if the blobs go over, but I really want to make sure Leighton's face isn't distorted too much. So I've selected all, and I want to go up to the top, and I'm going to just go with my height. I'm going to make that about 11 inches. and that makes it a total of 8.3 inches wide, and that's going to give me exactly the design that I want. So now we're ready to make it. Okay, so we're clicking Make It, and that's going to take us through to our mat. So it's separating it out based on color, and what we're going to do is we're going to make sure, because it's infusible ink, we need to mirror our design. And also, again, this will make more sense when it comes to me getting the design ready for application. I'm actually going to move Leighton in the mat and approximately around the center. Again, this will make sense, but yeah, we're going to move him in the center. I'm going to click mirror on the left-hand side. And also what I'm going to do, so I don't forget, is I'm going to click on the other layers and I'm going to mirror as well, just so, again, I don't forget. Come back up to the top once more, and then we're going to click continue. So today I'm using my Cricut Maker 3, but you can use any of the Cricut machines. Of course, if you're using a Joy, you might want to make it a little bit smaller. But our first color is going to be the black. But before we do anything, we're going to go to Browse All Materials. So I'm going to type in Infusible Ink. Transfer sheet. I'm going to save it as a favorite. I'm going to select it, click Done. We're going with the default pressure, and it's reminding me to make sure I've got mirror on, which I'll just check that I have. Yes, I have. Excellent. It tells me what tools that I need to make sure that are in my machine, which is the fine point blade, which I have already. And then we're going to go over to the machine and get ready to cut. So let's always make sure that you store your infusible ink in a cool, dry area. So here we go. We've got a sheet. It'll be 12 by 12, which is perfect. I always want to have nice dry hands as well, because otherwise you can remove some of the ink because basically the temperature. So we just want to make sure that that is not the case. And then just try not to manhandle it that much. So we're going to pop this down on our mat. There we go. All the way down. And if you have your Cricut brayer, this is a really handy tool. Very good for just making sure things are really well applied on your mat, again, without having to manhandle it as well. So whilst this looks brown, what you'll see is it will transform once we cut. So our machine is flashing to load. So in goes the mat between the guides. Now, if you are new, a hot tip, if you just curl it up slightly with a little bit of pressure from your finger or even just the palm of your hand and press the load button, you'll get the perfect load each and every time. Once the play button starts, we'll press play and we'll cut our first part of our design. While that's cutting, I'll open up the teal and also the tangerine. Now we'll unload our mat. Again, if you're new, always flip your mat over and peel your materials away from your mat. Make sure you put the cover back on your mat, and we'll pop that to the side. And we're finished with our maker, so we can pop that away. Cutouts, which what I'm going to do is with the teal and with the orange, or the tangerine, I'm just going to cut them down a little bit. Always, of course, put your leftovers back into the black packaging. All right, and keep it in a cool, dark place. Now, what I want to show you is the process when you're layering infusible ink, or the fact that we're not ideally going to layer it. We really want to apply this application all in one go. So what I'm going to do is, firstly, I'm going to weed the parts that I don't want from my smaller designs. And you don't need a weeding tool for this. You should just be able to peel it with your fingers. Again, trying not to manhandle the actual design that we're applying too much, because again, we just don't want to impact the design. You can see it comes away quite easily, and it's just like paper really. And we'll remove that and pop those to the side. Alright, and now comes the fun part. I said, I hope you like puzzles, because what we're going to do is we're going to puzzle piece these pieces into this transfer sheet so we can do it all in one application. So to make it easier, what I might do is put his ear in first. So it's a nice easy piece. And then, like I said, just like a puzzle, I'm going to slot that in there. Okay, our last piece, and we have completed our puzzle. And now it's time to do the application. So I'm going to get my EasyPress out and we'll move on to the final piece. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is jump over into the Cricut Heat Guide, which is available online. And what we're going to do is we're going to select in all of the different machines that we're using, the materials and the blanks that we're actually applying it to. And it's going to tell us exactly the time, the temperature, everything that we need to do to get the perfect result each and every time. So let's do that now. We're selecting our EasyPress 2. Transfer material is going to be our Infusible Ink transfer sheet, and we are putting this onto a pillow cover. And then we've got our Cricut EasyPress mat, and we click apply. And there you can see it's 385 degrees at 60 seconds. It does say to preheat for 15 seconds as well, but it tells us all of the other safety information around ventilation as well. There's not much of an odor, but make sure your door or your windows are open. And it tells us that we need the EasyPress 2, the butcher paper, all of the different information, and how long for the application and so forth. So I'm going to show you all of those steps live. So 385 degrees. For 60 seconds. Okay, so our EasyPress mat's on the bottom. The next thing that we need to do is get our pillow sham or our blank. Now, one thing that I want to say to you is do give consideration to where the zip is. If I was to have this on my bed, I would probably have the zip sort of down the bottom on the side here when it's closed. However, this is going on my quite new leather couch. And therefore, I don't really want the zip on the bottom because when someone sits on it, it's going to scratch. So I actually want it to close on the top here. So that is going to be the top of my pillow sham. So that's really important when you're doing the application, of course. So I'm going to put it down this way. So I know that that is where it's going to be when it's closed. Now I'm going to open it up and I'm going to pop in my sheet of cardstock, a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. Now, of course, if your design was larger, you can use a couple of pieces, whatever you need, but I'm just going to pop that in the middle there from what I can see. And really, that is just going to protect the inside and also the back of your pillow sham so that the infusible ink doesn't actually transfer through to the other side, because you might want to put another design on the other side as well. So that's done. The next thing that we're going to do is actually take a lint roller, and we're just going to roll this over. And what we're going to do is we just want to remove any hair, any lint, anything that might impact the design as we're doing the application. Our EasyPress is heated up, so we're at 385 degrees. It's set to go for 60 seconds. We're just going to do that preheat for 15 seconds, and I'm just going to count that in my head. And the reason that we're doing this is we want to wick away any moisture. We want to make sure that it's nice and dry. Again, we don't want to impact that transfer at all. Right, that's definitely 15 seconds. Nice and warmies, that's good. And now we're going to take our design and we're going to place it upside down, so ink side onto our blank. And I'm just standing up so I can see a little bit over to work out what is center, and I think I'm happy with that. I'm actually trying to center Leighton's head rather than the blobs because that's actually the focal point. So I'm happy with that. The last thing we need to do is pop in a sheet of butcher paper. All of this comes in the packs for you. We're going to pop this over, and that's also going to protect the EasyPress from any ink potentially coming through. So now we're going to put our EasyPress directly on our design. We're going to hit the green C, light pressure, and we really just want to make sure that we're connecting evenly that infusible ink transfer to our blank. Counting down, it's going to beep. We're going to lift our EasyPress straight up and put it back on the cradle, and I'll turn that off so that can cool down. Then let's get ready for the reveal. So it is warm to touch at the moment, but we'll be able to remove our butcher paper. Now, I would recommend discarding it. In this instance, I can tell you that pretty much no inks come through because we've, well and truly contained it within our transfer. So you could reuse that, but it is recommended that you just toss it away. Again, you get plenty in the pack. I've got a pile of the stuff. You don't need to go out and buy any. You've got plenty. Are you ready? I'm so excited. And ta-da! You can see that all of the color is being removed from the transfer sheets, which is exactly what we want to see. And you can just see, look how vibrant those colors are. So the black, which look brown, is black. We've got our beautiful bright teal color. I'm obsessed with teal at the moment. And because we puzzle pieced it all together, it's absolutely flawless in all of those, close up in those seams. And I'm so delighted with this. I hope that you are as well. And I really hope that you'll give Infusible Ink a try. There are beautiful patterns as well. It's not just the solid colors, but there are beautiful patterns out there. As I say, it's now infused within that blank. I'm going to take a beautiful photo and hopefully I'll show you at the end of this video as well. If you do have any questions, of course, pop them in the comments and we will answer you as soon as we can. But I'm just absolutely thrilled with how this turned out. And thanks for letting me join you for Make It May. Bye.